So there's so much going on. The Guardian, page 4, you're not allowed to do it. Trump rules out running for third term in the White House. So he says he's been asked to run again, and people are selling hats. He's selling hats on his own website, saying Trump 2028. And let's see what he said about this on NBC.
So many people want me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do.
Right, Stella.
He's so extremely manipulative because he knows exactly what is the rule in the US. He knows exactly that you're not allowed to run for a third term. He would have been completely aware of it before. Imagine if Obama had even insinuated any of the things that Trump has been doing. But this is another opportunity for Trump to show us how extremely corrupt he is and how manipulative he is.
Doesn't he just want to make you cross? Isn't that all he's trying to do?
He's an extremely good communicator, right? He's extremely charismatic. I mean, this was a masterclass at political communication where he's feigning ignorance and he's pretending that, oh, you know, if I don't think that it's allowed, but if someone was to find a way that this is allowed, and then what can I do? All of these people, they adore me, they love me so much. I will have no choice but to run again.
He's only 100 days in to his second term. He thinks he's won 3 elections in a row.
I think you've fallen for the clickbait. That's what I think. And I think you just can't take much of what he says particularly seriously. Like a scattergun. He just like shoots out all of this stuff and see what sticks. Previously, he said that he would run. He said he was not joking about wanting to serve a third or even fourth term. Now he's saying he doesn't want to. You just have to, sometimes it's a bit of noise and you just have to sort of not listen to it all.
But not, yeah, so that may count for the next thing, which is in The Guardian, again, The Guardian, but they've reported on him sharing this image of him mocked up as the Pope. Now, that's actually come out of the real Donald Trump account, but then it's been retweeted by the White House.
Yes, exactly. And I think I'm wondering who needs to be fired in this situation. Quite a few people need to be fired. And for once again, Donald Trump holds in contempt the values of the people he claims to represent.
You think it's offensive?
J.D. Vance, it's extremely offensive. J.D. Vance, his vice president, is a Catholic who uses his Catholicism for political means. He's using his Catholicism to show that, look, I share your conservative values, I believe in God, I'm a family man, all of these things. And then you have a president who all of these people are putting their faith into him, and he's mocking their belief.
But again, I think Christo thinks you've fallen for it.
I think it's all clickbait. Look, I think that
explain clickbait to our viewers, because
clickbait is when you something provocative is put online in order to get your attention, essentially, and whether you click on it, you have been baited. And I mean, the one thing I agree with the criticism of this picture is it being retweeted by the White House, because the White House is, the tweets from the White House is whether we're entering World War III. You'd want that sort of information from the White House. So I understand people saying, is that a bit dodgy? But I mean, he's just taking the mickey. This is just a silly picture.
But he's the president. He's the president of the United States. This is a person who is representing millions of people. He is using religion as political ammunition. He's using the fact that his side are more religious, and Christian in particular. They've used Christian values for political means, and this is how they treat the religion. And you know what's the thing that makes me angry? The thing that makes me angry the most is the fact that they are complaining, their political side, this new right, they're complaining how Muslim people take Islam so seriously and how we are not allowed to take Christianity as seriously. But look at them. They are mocking their own people.
Well, you were allowed to. I mean, if you are someone who has a sense of humour, you would probably look at this and say, oh, God, roll your eyes and go, oh, how absolutely...
If it was done by a teenager, not when it is done by...
Has there been huge outrage by Catholic people in the States as a result of this? I don't think there has been.
Yes, there has been extreme outrage, actually.
Yeah, well, we remember the Trump Gaza video where he tweeted a video somebody else had made of him a massive statue of him in Gaza, and basically the whole place turned into a resort.
I mean, that I thought was less tasteful.
That was, so there's then another video. This isn't from him, but just have a look at this. Oh, okay, that's the Pope one. We've got another video. Oh, God, I hadn't seen this one.
I hadn't seen
okay,
it.
Right.
My God.
This is not from him. This is just nonsense. And I think we got one of, which reminds us of the Bee Gees. And do you know what? If that comes from the White House account, I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what, Jeremy?
They've gone crazy over there.
Donald Trump wishes he looked that good in white trousers.
But that's, of course, a takeoff of, what is it, Staying Alive?
Staying Alive, yeah.
So there we are. Just all kinds of stuff. Then we're not even done with Trumpland. Trump has ordered the reopening of Alcatraz, which is the prison. I think the last person to be on it was that famous... who was the famous kind of crime? Capone, wasn't it? Al Capone.
He
was
was
done
on
for
there.
tax in the end, but so it was impossible to escape from Alcatraz.
Nicky Cohen, George Machine Gun Kelly.
And it was closed down as a It was closed down as a prison by JFK on the basis that it was not fair to keep people on an island surrounded by shark-infested waters. It's now a tourist prison. Now, funny enough, 11 years ago, I went with my family to Alcatraz. Have you been? So if you visit the USA, you go to San Francisco, it's a day trip to Alcatraz. I'll just show you some of our holiday snaps. So this is, actually, just pause on this one. That's my daughter Martha, who at the time was about 10. And you can see in the cell behind her, you can see a little shape on the pillow. And they've exhibited what was an escape attempt. A guy created a head made of soap bars, got his own hair, stuck it on top, so it looked like he was in bed. He dug a hole in the wall and got out. So it's a famous escape from Alcatraz. We don't know if he actually survived the shark-infested waters, but so the tourist end, let's see some more pictures. The tourist end of it is brilliant. You go round, you hear all about it, you have your headphones on, there's my wife, and it's amazing. So they would have to close it as a tourist destination to reopen it as a prison. And I think it's probably more useful as a tourism place. But anyway,
well,
there we are. So we're outside. Honestly, no way of escaping from that. Really, you're in the water and you're not going to survive, because that San Francisco that's a good half a day's swim. What do you think, Christo? Reopen it as a prison?
I mean, I'd love to go and visit. Actually, that's right up my street. But apparently, according to Professor Gabriel Jack Chin from the Davis School of Law at the University of California, probably all a bunch of lefties in there. No, but they say, this is what Trump would say, they say that actually they don't need more prison space because there are empty beds in US prisons. So actually, if you were going to, you don't need to reopen another prison. Prison population is down about 25% from its peak population. Really? There are a lot of empty beds in existing prisons, so it's not clear if a new one is actually needed.
Wow, okay. What do you think of reopening Alcatraz to prisoners?
As you said, I think it's much better as a tourist destination because it means more money is flowing into,
Yeah.
It makes more money when it's a tourist destination than if it was a prison.
Yeah, but it's both. Prisoners in one section, tourists in the other. That would work.
That was the latest from Trumpland.